Show with Irish Show with Irish Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. Wild, weird week. One I'd like to forget and can't. Welcome in to the Bounce Back Bowl edition of the Always Irish Morning Show. Big week, folks. Huge week. One that no one is in the mood for at all. It could be one of the biggest weeks of the Marcus Freeman era. How they coach and how this team comes out this week. Okay, this is a big, big game, a big moment. Nobody wants to think about or deal with or address or acknowledge. None of it. It is awkward dynamics, dangerous dynamics. This is a big one for Marcus and the staff. We got a lot to go over. Maybe you disagree and you think I'm exaggerating, whatever. We'll get into it. Good morning, everybody. I guess it's been a long week for Johnny Boy. As always, you can find a program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. Notifications on that way you will learn it every time a new episode drops. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Oh, the Ohio State people been finding Johnny Boy. What a miserable week. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it to call-in lines. 312-988-15. We got a bunch of calls. I'm going to give you guys time. It is the most bizarre week. I'm going to give you time and go where you need to go. Okay, so we're going to get to the calls. I got a bunch of them already. I'm going to go to you guys quick today. All right, Instagram, Facebook, all that. Always Irish Inc., USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it. Listen, you guys, I'm starting to think that. All right, here's the first thing that's already annoying me. We do this Ohio State thing. It ends how it ends. You know, the Ohio State people are having a field day, going at the Notre Dame people on every social media and whatever. And my biggest troll I got in the chat and the call the other day and now today is a hillbilly Michigan fan from down south. Like, if anybody wants to know how John's freaking week is going, that's how it's going. The biggest troll on this show this week hasn't even been an Ohio State guy. It's some hilljack Michigan fan from Florida. I don't understand. I banned him once. Then he came back today with a different screen name. I banned him twice. And now he's back with the third screen name. I just can't. This is my life, you guys. It's not even somebody who deserves the troll. Like an Ohio State fan at least has deserved the troll. I just can't. I can't. It's hilarious. I don't know. Maybe it's me, man. My personality. Maybe I'm just a magnet for BS. I don't know. Here's the other thing. People have been asking me, John, I noticed since the Ohio State game, you're not wearing your chain. Your Always Irish chain. What's the deal, bro? Listen, the Mark with glasses, hand-delivered gangster chain, pimp chain, that only comes out after wins. You don't get to wear the chain if you lose. That's the rules I've decided. So the chain is for the off season, all the off season, everything, you're looking up at the next year. And then in this season, you only get to wear the chain after win. So the chain has been set aside. If the boys take care of business at Duke, then I'll pull the chain out. You don't get to be flashy when you lose. You don't get to be flashy when you lose. Okay? You just don't. You haven't earned that. All right? So when we win again, I'll put it back on again. Here's the other thing we're going to say. Notre Dame's not having a good time going to the Carolinas. It's either a blizzard, a hurricane, a monsoon. Right before I went live, Pete Sampson said on the flight down there, the flight attendant just said, everybody hold on, we have no landing gear. There'll be emergency trucks waiting when we land. Bro, we do not have a good time going to the Carolinas, man. I hope poor Pete Sampson's plane landed sparkless. Like, there's something there. Notre Dame is not having a good time going down there, bro. Jeezy, Pete. God bless you, Pete. Let's do a couple chats. We have some super chats I want to get into. And we have callers. So I want to get through a couple things I need to get through real quick. Get with the callers so then they can get on with their day. $5 holler from Pat. Morning, John, and the Always Irish family. 1 day away from seeing how Marcus Freeman has progressed as head coach. Mind right, limit mistakes equals 10-plus point win. One of the questions I have for you guys is, I want to know if I am over-exaggerating the mental aspect for the team entering this game. Physically, Notre Dame has a much superior roster across the board. They just do. Okay? But that's not the only equation. I'm telling you guys the truth. If these Notre Dame players play the way I have felt since the game, they're in for a long night. And I say that as an insult to myself for how bad of a job I have done processing this, taking this, and moving on and living a normal life this week. Okay? Let me say that again. If these guys play the way I have felt this week, we're in for a long night. And I am embarrassed about that. This is the show of honesty. I've always given you guys exactly the truth, where I see it, where I'm coming from. I am still dragging ass. I am still miserable. That pit in my stomach has not moved at all. It hasn't, okay? I am not proud of this. This is not a badge of misery fan honor. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm taking the loss harder than you, so I'm a bigger fan. It is none of that bullshit. I am just miserable and having trouble processing it, and I'm not over it. I'm not going to be over this for a long time. Okay? I'm not. This was too big of a moment with too much scar tissue, too much on the line to be in the position we had and have it end that way. I have done a horrible job this week. I'm dragging ass, and I am a zombie. Okay? And I've been praying all week that these guys are way mentally tougher than I could ever be, because I ain't over it. And the last thing I'm in the mood for is some annoying ass game at Duke where they are all flying high and they're all, excited in game day. And this is our chance to not do a basketball thing. And they're all worked up. And on our side, nobody wants to be there. Nobody's excited about it. Nobody cares. It's Duke. It's annoying. It's just a bad freaking dynamic, bro. It's just a bad dynamic. And I hate it. The irony in all this is the same group that are a big part of the reason we lost the game, the coaching staff, have to be the same reason we win the game this week. This is the life of college football, you guys. It's a beautiful thing in a way, how it all connects. There's no doubt the coaching staff let everybody down last week. That is a fact. That is not an opinion. That is an objective fact for everybody who knows about football, okay? Now you need that group to have their best week of coaching this week so you can make sure you get this win and don't derail the entire season. Okay? And so I sincerely hope our players are more mentally strong than I am, and they beat Duke and they channel all that energy and rage into hitting Riley Leonard 20 times, all that. I need that from them. But as for me, I've been a mess. I've been an absolute mess, and I'm not proud of it. It's immature. I should be able to process this, but it hadn't happened. It hasn't happened. The way I soak these things in, it has not happened. So I have been a dragging ass piece of crap, bro. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for this annoying ass Duke game. None of it. None of it. Let me finish these chats and then we'll get to the calls. I'm getting derailed. $20 holler from Eric. For the love of God, get Tyree the freaking ball more than one time. Marist, you bum. Get more than 0 tackles. I have a major problem when one of your main players and linebackers that's out there almost every defensive snap has 0 tackles in a game. I have a problem with that. I have to ask what's going on. I don't like that. Like, I know Marist takes a lot of heat regularly, but like 0-0, bro, you're out there all night. Make a play. Get off the block. Do something. $2 outlet from Steven. Still mad, but ND has work to do. 48-14. 48-14 is the best case scenario for this little window of time. 48-14's beautiful, man. Beautiful. I don't know where this is all going to fall. Duke's over pumped up and we're going to come in mad and pound the ball on him and whatever. Or are you walking into this big trap where our guys are worn out physically and emotionally and play kind of half-ass, sloppy, or half asleep, and then that's how you lose to Duke. You don't lose to Duke because of talent. You lose to Duke because they feel the way I do, and they're dragging ass and just can't get up for the moment. That's why I'm saying I need those guys to be way more mentally tough than I've been this week. And again, maybe if I knew I had to go play, I would force my mind to do something different, but I don't. So I'm letting the natural grief process run through, and I'm miserable. Sorry. $5 holler from Mikey. Last Saturday was tough. Team is built differently. We're going to make Duke football look like Duke football. Let's go. That's the idea. And the other thing is, you guys, see, the dynamics have changed. Now that we saw what happened, the dynamics have changed. All Notre Dame people, I could feel this on social media. Callers, hang in there. I'm going right to you, I promise. You could feel on social media like the magnifying glass. You know how you like turn the magnifying glass to kind of zone it in and focus? And as you're doing that, show you what a scientist I am. You could feel this week on social media that microscope lens zooming in on the staff. Like, you could feel it. Nobody has any more patience for any coaching mistakes for the rest of time. Like, that's what this cost Freeman and company. And it should. That's what it cost them, is now no Notre Dame. That microscope is zoomed in on that staff. And if the team comes out sluggish or something, oh, baby, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. So I pray that Freeman has the strength to get these guys to not be like me. Channel that rage instead of into a microphone in your basement. Channel that rage into Duke and take it all out on them. Nothing any of us could do will undo the way the Ohio State game ended. But Notre Dame can't let that cost them 2 games instead of 1. This is a pivotal moment of the Marcus Freeman coaching era. You could say last week was, and it was in a bunch of ways. This one is too, in different ways. That's the test this week. The same group of guys that messed up last week have to gain the guys' trust to get it right this week. That is a big dynamic. We're going to find out the buy-in, the belief, the resolve, the player leadership. You're going to see all of that come out this week, and it better come out right. This was always going to be a dangerous spot. Everybody had Duke circled as the trappiest trap game of all time all summer. It ain't a trap now. It's laid out right in front of you. It's more like an obstacle course than a trap. You know it's there and you got to navigate it. Tough week. And these fans, no one is in the mood to sit around all day watching other games and all this. Some of you are going to watch game day because Notre Dame's involved, whatever. No one's in the mood for this. To be sitting around all day in a shit mood waiting for you to play kickoff against Duke and they're all fired up. No one's here for that, bro, but that's the situation we're in. Okay? And oh, by the way, even if you get through this one, you have a similar dynamic next week. Oh, Louisville, it's a night game. Oh, we should give them game day when Notre Dame comes to town. It's just the most irrelevant team keeps somehow ending up on prime time in the biggest moments, and everybody wants to go see them play. It's freaking amazing how an irrelevant team is moving the needle every single week in college football. I'm going to have a stroke. 38-10, always Irish art. I like the Newt Rockney. I get what you did with the 38-10, and I'm with you, and I appreciate that. Call in topics. 502. OH closure. 2 Moses. 3 Johnny Cash. Host choice. I like that. I'll write that down, 502. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mike in Oklahoma with the $20 holler. We all heard equally. Seeing it up close doesn't help. What does help is running the table and showing the world that what we're made of and lends credit to the caliber of this team, mentality, and what they can handle. Mike, I think you're right about that, especially the people that watch my show are, I don't know, but I'm guessing the group that gravitates to my area of Notre Dame coverage tend to be the more outgoing ones or the personality more people more than the analytic. I don't know. Maybe you're both and you dabble in both. I don't know. I think we all hurt equally, like if you're a diehard, but how you present it is different. I have some people that are saying, I can't even talk about Duke. It has to be all about that fallout. Still, they're trying to process and talk through it. And I have other people going, all right, it is the day before the next game. We need to quit talking about that and move on. Like, I think we all hurt equally, but how you present it to the outside world is differently. And unfortunately for you guys, and I mean this, unfortunately for you guys, there was no social media for Bush Push. We didn't have this. I wasn't doing this. I was able to just curl up in a ball and dissolve from the world for a few weeks, and nobody ever knew I was gone. I didn't have any responsibilities to talk about this and process it, present it to other people. You guys are seeing that moment unfold live. The worst one I've had in 18 years since October 15th, 2005, leaving that stadium, okay? This is the worst it's been in the dynamics since then, as far as the moment. And you guys are seeing it live, and it hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been pretty, and I can't apologize for it. It's how I'm processing it. And I don't know any other way to do it than to let it run its course. So it's been ugly, and maybe I haven't done a great job. But that's where we're at. When are you going to stop underestimating Elko, John? Dude, have you not paid attention to any of my content at all? I write an article in the USA Today praising Mike Elko, saying Michigan State should call him, and that he smells leprechaun blood in the water, and he's going for a kill shot. And I say nobody would know better than Mike Elko what Notre Dame went through and how gutting that is, and what a solid coach he is. I have no idea where that narrative's coming from. Every piece of written material and my preview video, I point out what a great guy and great coach Mike Elko is. I realize people can't watch everything you do and see every article you write. The first thing I've been mentioning all the time is Mike Elko, and that I want him to get the Michigan State job, and that him and Freeman are two of the guys on that small list of great coaches and good guys everybody should want to see succeed in this business. I don't know how many times I could say that. It is what it is. People aren't going to see everything you put out, but I've been praising Mike Elko forever, and I've done it this week. So I don't know where that's coming from, man. I don't have the time to fight about it. Go find the article. Go find the pregame show. A caller on John's Marshall pregame show. They have to look better because they can't look much worse. Thanks for the $5 depression holler. Kenny Powers. Oh, my God. I wish it was Kenny Powers. That'd put me in a better mood. $5 holler from Kenny. NBC is... There's no way. There's no way. I'm not letting this happen to where somebody trolls me into thinking this is real. And then everybody's going to blame Ryan Day for doing it. It crossed my mind in the post-game shows, and I wasn't going to say it. Ryan Day better hope Lou Holtz doesn't croak soon, or he's going to catch a lot of blame for that. I'm not even letting you trigger me with that fake news. Come on, bro. That ain't right. That ain't right. You actually had me freezing for a second because you crossed the line with that one. Unbelievable. All right, let's do some calls. 502 donated. You're going up first. And then we're going to go 361, 567, 818. We got a bunch of others. 707. All you guys are going on. 502, what do you want to do? Happy Friday morning.
Hey, John. Thanks for taking my call. Call topics. Where do you want to head? I'll give you three.
Can I ask you, this is in my mind and I need another perspective. I want to know this. Am I overplaying what a big deal this is for the Notre Dame coaching staff to be able to get these guys' minds right, to move on and perform well in this tough road game against a team that could beat you if you mess around? Am I overdoing that, or is this as big of a coaching moment as last week, but in a different way? Am I overdoing that angle on this?
Nope, not at all. You hit the nail on the head when you said trust. So I liken last weekend to like a wife or a girlfriend who cheats on you, and you break that trust, and you got to know why, and you got to apologize. And I sure hope those coaches went into that room at the end of the game and said, "Guys, we owe you one.
Yep.
We screwed up."
Oh man, you're really right.
I really hope that was done.
Listen. The way I know Marcus and the way I know of Marcus, I find it very hard to believe there was not a meeting, film review of the game, Sunday, whatever they do, where Marcus gets up there, has a heart-to-heart with the guys and goes, "We let you guys down. It'll never happen again. We're all in this bunker together. Now let's ride." Marcus is that kind of guy. There's no way he would put it on the players, put it on the blame everybody else. That's not the kind of guy he is. And I think it would be important for the players to hear that message from Freeman. He's the kind of guy I could see doing the right thing, having that discussion. It needed to happen to start the week. It needed to happen. I'm sure it did, because I trust Marcus would handle it right.
Now, he's also left us hanging, though, John. Right? He's left the fan base hanging. We don't know what happened.
Yep.
And we need closure. I think we do. Wouldn't you like closure? Wouldn't you like to know, hey, this is what went down?
Here's what I think, man. Here's what I've been thinking about this every which way from last Saturday. Trust me. Here's my thought. Marcus Freeman's going to take these bullets, just like when there were mistakes made with the Ludwig situation. They were not Marcus's mistakes, but he got up at the podium, took the bullets, deflected, tried to say whatever he could say to smooth it over. He's going to do that here. There will be nothing else publicly, because Marcus is not going to call out a player or an assistant coach. He is going to say, "I am the head guy, even though that's not my job on game day. Ultimately, it falls on me, and you're not going to get any more than you already got." I'm telling you, that's it, man. He's taking the bullets. He's a good soldier, man. That's what you do. You have to.
I get it.
Yeah, and he's going to, and it frustrates me. And it frustrated me when I knew he didn't do anything wrong with Ludwig, and he had to get up there and look silly and make excuses and make up stuff to get through it. Like, that's what you got to do, though. Marcus will do it. But how do you get these guys right? If they play how I feel, Notre Dame's in for a late dogfight at Duke nobody wants. I want them mad and taking it out on Duke, and I want it to be obvious.
I'm with you. I think it's going to happen.
It should happen. I mean, I get that they're a good, that they're a tough team, and Mike Elko's a hell of a coach, and I get that they beat Clemson and all that. But Notre Dame is just a better roster, but that's not the biggest dynamic in play to me this week. So I don't know. What else was on your mind? I don't want to make it what I wanted to talk about.
No, I mean, I'm just more about the closure thing, and I would really like to know. I mean, if you go look at that last play, a little detective work, you can tell who's not out there. Like, I want to know why he wasn't out there.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of it. Like, who was the player that was supposed to be in that spot that wasn't? Did the coach, did they think they were changing it up or something and there was a miscommunication? Like, I don't know, man, but it's...
Do you mind if I speculate?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Rubio should have been out there. Am I wrong?
Maybe
he was hurt. He had a bad knee. But wasn't he the one supposed to be out there?
There are some people that have been breaking down the film saying that he kind of ran out there, but then when they did the timeout and came back out, he didn't go back out there after the timeout. I have heard, and I don't know that, but that's what people are saying, that's how it was set up, and I don't know. And even if you had 11 guys, I disagree with being in the defensive scheme they were in. They were in a light nickel package with everybody when they were doing a goal line. Even if you had 11, I didn't like it. But I think it was Rubio, and he ran out there. And then when they did the timeout, he came back and then never went back out. So I don't know who that's on, man. But you're not. And then people are saying Patello. I don't know. You're never going to find out the truth, man. Freeman's going to take accountability to his guys and then move on and never want to talk about it again. You're not going to get closure.
Yeah, I'm not looking to point fingers at anyone, just like what happened, because it's like a family member goes missing and you never know what happened to them. You never get over it.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Yep.
This weekend's going to be a good weekend. I predict victory, and I'll make room for other callers. Go Irish.
Yeah, go Irish. Hey, thank you for the call and for the crystal clear phone line, buddy. It makes a difference. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
No problem. Cheers.
Have a good one. Man, that's just a man who calmly wants to state his business. Calmly wants to state his business. $5 holler. Never happened again. I don't know. Evidently, it also happened in the Tennessee State game where there were only 10 defensive players on the field. Yeah. That did happen. So there's something loose there. And you know why it hurts me? Because I was the guy on here like an idiot saying, oh, man, good job by the staff so far this year. Seems like a put-together operation. I can't say that now. You're not allowed to make this mistake. And then I say that the coaching's put together. I can't. So makes me look dumb, makes Freeman look dumb, makes the team look dumb. But you're not allowed to make that mistake in that moment. And I get on here and go, you know what we have going for us? The coaching staff has it all put together. I can't do it. So it's a very, very tough learning lesson. 361, let's have a little fun. What's going on this morning?
Hey, what's up, John?
Very awkward week,
last...
Mike. Very awkward week, and right? Everything's disjointed. Everybody feels like they're out of sorts. You're on Twitter. The normal game flow. The normal game flow of like you do a game and then everybody reacts to it. And then after a few days, we start looking at the next one. We don't have like that. All of the normal fan flow is all messed up of emotion and how we move on and then talk about the next game. It's all messed up right now. And it's very awkward. This is a tricky moment for Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. By the way, the first caller really he started off with a very calm presence. That might have been good.
I know. Because I know I never have that, Mike. Even in good times, I don't have that. I appreciated him. His calm tone brought my blood pressure down a little. I appreciated it.
Right. I went through all the phases, and here we are Friday. When I did my Duke preview, I was, as far as the Ohio State side of it, I was self-deprecation. I just started making fun of the whole situation because what else can you do?
Yep.
That's where I was reserved. But I want to answer a question you asked, which is, how is the team mentally prepared for Duke? And my feeling is it's very different than years past. I know it hits us as fans more, but if you look at it from a broader perspective, Saturday night was disappointing, but not discouraging, which is a very important distinction because I'm not discouraged and reserved to, oh, great, here we go again. You could see how different it is. You can feel how different it is. And when you look to Duke, this team is going to come back excited, ready to go. I believe that. I believe that they feel the same way. Like, man, that's disappointing, but I'm not discouraged. This team is great. We got this, guys. We got this. And then you look at Duke. And I know you reviewed Duke, previewed Duke. So have I. What does Duke do special that excites you? Their quarterback that everybody rants and raves about has 2 passing touchdowns. 2. And if Clemson doesn't South Florida 2011 themselves, they win that game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
but listen, is momentum, like, I've thought of that too. And then I also think, even if you want to say it was weird how they won that game, confidence and momentum is real. And those guys have it. And we don't really have it. And like, that's the calculation to me, is like, they are ready to go. You know what I mean? And like, they have all that momentum and the confidence they beat Clemson and all that. Like, so even if I know that like Clemson dominated that game in a lot of ways and lost, momentum and confidence is real. And Duke has all of it. And the Notre Dame side's limping into town on an airplane that's sparking on the runway, literally, apparently.
Yeah, right. That's ridiculous. But the other thing I was, wanted to kind of get your feel for is, do you think the coaches realize, and I'm sure they realize, but will they make an active effort to be like, hey, we kind of screwed the pooch by not taking advantage of the fact that we have Estime. We really only took, if you rewatch the game, I counted what I would define as deep shots 3 times all game against Ohio State.
Yep.
I understand they've got great players.
Yep.
But the percentages tell you there's going to be some sort of success by taking deep shots. And it might even show up as they play a little bit deeper, opening up a little more run lane. Like, there's advantages to taking the shot. We finally have a quarterback to do it. Do you think the coaches are going to actively correct that and go back to what we've been seeing? Or are they still going to be like, well, Duke, well coached, Elko's a defensive guy? I think we need to see that active, aggressive effort, not just going for it on 4th and 1 or whatever, but putting pressure on the opponent to defend everything we have.
Yeah.
I don't think we did that against Ohio.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. With that, I agree with you in the way, my way of thinking of it is, against a good physical defense with 4- and 5-star guys everywhere that Ohio State has, the odds Notre Dame's going to be able to string together and dink and dunk 12 and 13 play drives all together where they don't get behind the sticks or they make a play or whatever, doing that enough to score enough to win one of these games. I think you needed to try and get some bigger chunks, not be reckless. Pick your spots. Try and find a spot for Tyree on a wheel route and gain 40 yards. Like, I think I would have wanted to see that. And I thought that's why you brought Hartman in here. Like, not to Ian Book could dink and dunk and out route 4 yards. Like, I thought you were going to see a little more of that. And then people are going to say Notre Dame's receivers don't get separation, whatever. I get it. I'm just saying, I think you're going to have to take some chances. And Mike, here's the other part of this. If Notre Dame plays USC with that offensive game plan, you're going to get boat raced out of your own building because you are not. I don't care how much you believe in Notre Dame's defense. USC is going to move the ball, put up some points. If you think you're going to dink and dunk and you're going to play slow and all, I have concerns. You're going to have to be aggressive against USC, against their bad defense. So I don't know, man. That's kind of where I've been at with it. I just thought you brought Artman in here to at least try to throw the ball a little more, take some chances.
Well, that's why I love. I know you find comedy in things and have dark humor, as do I. I just laugh that we brought, like you just said, we brought in Hartman because he's clearly different than every quarterback we've had for the last 5-6 years. And one of the biggest plays in the game involved Hartman running the ball. I'm like, what are we even doing? And it's that 4th and 1 play where you said it. People said it. Ian Book gets that conversion. Tyler Buckner gets that conversion. Sam Hartman, that's not his strength. What are we even doing?
Yeah.
That's the Tommy Rees crap that drove me bananas, is not understanding what your personnel could do and playing to their strengths. Hartman's strength, while he is mobile, he has mobility, that's not his strength. What are we doing?
Yeah, and the other thing is, if David Sherwood holds onto that block even halfway decent, then it's not even an issue on the sideline. Like, there was a block that he didn't even have to do anything great. If he held that block a little bit, then it's not even. There's so many little things, man. There's so many little things.
I know.
Oh my God, look at this. Somebody did it, Mike. Somebody made their screen name Marcus 10 Man, and it's a picture of Marcus's face. And then they chatted, this coaching staff will be crippled with fear on Saturday. This is my life now, Mike. This is my life.
Well, I made the joke on my show that we need to hire the counts, put them on the sideline.
Man, that's funny.
And I'm waiting.
Like, picture the count. He's got his cloak on the sideline, like taking a tally of how many guys, and he has like a gold cloak, and he's just walking around down there, bro. You gotta laugh or you're gonna cry at this point. You gotta laugh, but you gotta see. Like, now, Mike, I can't make people happy. Some people are like into this discussion, and others are going, "We play Duke tomorrow." I get that we play Duke tomorrow. But everybody needs to be honest with themselves and admit this was not a regular loss, and it's going to sting. And it's going to linger for a long, long time. This one you cannot just move on from. It's not going to happen.
And like you said, we're fans, so we have a little bit more leeway on the moving on element. But to not to stay on Ohio State, but I know you've heard it, seen it, felt it. Ohio State fans go, get over the loss, get over it, get over it. Do you really think if training camp comes up a half inch short that Ohio State's over it today? Not a chance.
Yep, no way.
Not a chance.
Yeah, it's just
so.
It's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, let's be a little objective here. But okay, let's talking about Duke. I'm not impressed. Riley Leonard is their Brennan Armstrong. How did that work out for North Carolina State? That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's exactly that. He's an ACC dual threat quarterback that Notre Dame already knows how to defend that. And we did a fantastic job. I do want to see more pressure from the front seven, but you got to treat it like you did Brennan Armstrong. I don't remember. I think we got, did we even get a sack on him? I can't remember. Maybe it was 1 or 2. But the sack numbers are not going to be what I'm looking for. It's not letting him escape for a 44-yard touchdown like Clemson did. It's not letting him run for 98 yards like Clemson did.
Yeah.
Don't. It's not about the sacks. Do not over pursue. Don't.
Yeah.
Keep it contained, because I don't think, and his passing numbers play out. He's not going to beat you in the pocket.
Yeah.
Don't let him run away. So
yep, it's going to be interesting. And Mike, the thing is, nobody in Notre Dame Nation's in the mood for this. Like the vibes are bad. Everybody's annoyed. It's a night game. You have to wait all day. The energy and the optimism of the Duke side compared to what we're entering with. Like, I'm just saying all the vibes are bad and you need to make it right by just playing good physical football, taking your anger out on them, get the win, calm the seas, and then you start worrying about Louisville. And then we do this whole USC build up again. That's going to be the next thing. That's a must win of the must win of an already must win. Like, that's what you got to do. So I just hope they're in a better place than I am with it. Anything else, my friend?
Yeah. The last thing is the point spread. I can't figure out if that's disrespectful to Notre Dame. We're giving Duke all kinds of credit and props, mainly for the Clemson win. If it's this thought that we're all having is Notre Dame hung over from Ohio State. But I think the 5.5 is a joke. So if you've got a few bucks to spare, bet Notre Dame to cover that.
There you go. There you go. At
minimum, we're winning by 6.
There you go. I like,
go Irish.
Go Irish. Hey, Mike, thanks for the call, buddy. I just don't, these are abnormal circumstances. Everybody needs to admit that. I think it would be a mistake to act like this was just a regular run-of-the-mill week and you just keep it moving. Like, I think it's important to understand the gravity of the moment and how messed up everything is. This doesn't come along often. This is an 18-year occurrence. Okay? The aftermath of Bush Push was like this. I've told this story a million times. The week after Bush Push, we hosted Tennessee at our place in 2005. And me and my brother went, we were, at Bush Push, and we came back the next week for Tennessee. You parked the car, and it felt like a funeral. A funeral. And it was another home game the next week. I'm telling you, you couldn't hear a noise. There was no partying in a parking lot, tailgate, everybody excited and rah-rah and everything. No. It was like being at a funeral. And in that way, a part of me doesn't mind this being away, to be honest with you. To kind of get out of, it might do our guys good to get the hell away from that stadium for a week and be able to let those vibes die there, rather than everybody meets back at the same center place of misery again. In a way, I don't mind that. Like, I know it's going to be a tough game, but I don't mind being away. That Tennessee game, it was dead. The tailgates were like a wake. Okay? When you have something like Bush Push like this, it carries over. Carries over. Man, some of you guys are trying to get my blood pressure up with the troll, and it's not going to work. I'm trying. Cody, $20 hour. Love the show. My safe place. We are suffering together. Cody, thank you very much for that. I've received a lot of messages the last week from Notre Dame people that said, John, thank you. And I'm like, for what? I just yell because I'm mad, whatever. And they're saying, nobody in my real life understands the feeling that's going on in my gut and in my mind and in my heart and all that with this. And there's no way to explain that to somebody who doesn't get it. And people are saying, when we go to your show, we know everybody in here. You don't have to explain shit to them. Everybody that's in this feels the way we do about like that, just the pain of all this. And people are just saying it's nice to go to a place where you don't have to explain yourself. And the default is everybody here feels and knows what's going on, and we're all in it together. And if I can fill that role, I think I'm doing my job. Somebody asked, I'm going to get back to the calls. I'm sorry. Somebody asked whose defense was better or whatever. Was it Freeman's defense or was it Elko's defense? For one, I think their schemes are very vastly different. However, to me, that's not the only calculation. Like if you were going to ask me, who would you rather have or whatever, there could be scenarios where like I might like Elko's defense better, the way it's set up, but I might value the way Freeman recruits and does all that to get more talent in a different way than Elko can because of his personality. And then you would have to, it isn't just the on the field. I got to consider that stuff too. So, yeah, look at this. Look at this. I'm not letting it work. I'm not letting it work. You're not doing it. Like, I'm not, this isn't, I'm not, we're not doing this. I had multiple people on Twitter tell me, multiple people on Twitter told me, they were tweeting, are you telling me if Brian Kelly was the coach that we only would have had 10 out there for the last play? There's no way Kelly would have allowed that. Yeah, you're right. We would have had 11 guys out there if Kelly was there. The problem is we would have been losing by 28 points. That's my answer. That's my answer. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure Kelly would add 11 guys on the field, but those 11 guys would be losing by 4 scores to begin with, so you wouldn't even have the same worries. Okay? That's the reality. And if you're going to push back on me, how? What evidence would you have of Notre Dame in a top 5 game to push back on me to say, no, John, Kelly would have navigated it better? There is no evidence. So don't go there. You're just trying to get me mad. Okay? That's the answer, though. But I think that guy was serious. I think that guy was serious when he was tweeting. Are you telling me Kelly would have only had 10? No way. Yeah, I agree with you. It would have been 11. You would have been down 4 scores. Kelly, at least Freeman had these guys emotionally ready to match the intensity of Ohio State. Notre Dame belonged out there. Energy-wise, they matched Ohio State. They came out the way we always wanted Notre Dame teams to come out in a big moment, and they never did under Kelly. So he would add him down 4 scores. He would add him down 4 scores. John, BK's at the top of the SEC now. Let's not go that far. Again, it's not going to work. I know what you're trying to do. Let me explain this. Even if Brian Kelly succeeds wildly in the SEC, he didn't hear. Okay? He didn't hear. They're different animals. They require different things. Okay? So even if he did good down at LSU, he didn't at Notre Dame. It's not going to make me feel any better about it. You know what I mean? Pat, what is it?
BYU was the opponent after the Bush push, October 22nd. I was at that game. Notre Dame won 49-23.
Oh, God. Why did I think? When was Tennessee? Another game out?
Tennessee was the week after. Notre Dame won 41-21.
Well, then my point even holds even worse because it was a funeral 2 weeks later then.
Yeah, well, it was.
Jesus.
I tell you what, it was also rainy for that BYU game. I remember I went with my dad, and that campus was dead. There was nobody walking on it. But Notre Dame, I remember Notre Dame handled BYU pretty easily. Like it was a little back and forth in their first half, but the second half they blew them out. Like Stovall had like 6 touchdown catches or something.
Hey,
like that.
Pat, let me ask you this: am I exaggerating that the biggest battle for Notre Dame is their mentality? Is that just me because of the way I process all this shit, or is that real that they got to get their minds right and the staff that let them down has the task of doing it? Tough dynamics, in my opinion, man. Am I overblowing that or not?
No, I think you're right on both fronts. You're a mental head case, number one, and number two. Yeah, this game is a mental game. I think it actually.
Hey, do you like how I didn't even try and push back? Because I know you're right. I'm not even gonna I just let you go right through that because I know there's nothing to say when the guy's right. Like I have nothing to say, Pat. You're right. I just acknowledge it as the reality. You ain't wrong, and you are the most qualified person if my family's not in here today to be making that determination. You're right, buddy. You're right.
Yeah, but I think this game being a road game benefits Notre Dame not having it at home. So there'll be a vibe in the stadium, and it's Notre Dame's job to quiet the vibe. The thing about the Freeman and I understand where that caller's coming from. The first guy who was saying that he wants closure. I understand that completely. I would love for Marcus Freeman to come up there and tell me who was the player that was supposed to be on the field. What was exactly? I work for free. What was who was responsible for him not being on the field? I would love to hear all that stuff. I absolutely would love to.
You're not gonna.
But that is not the.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it. And you know why? Because that's what Brian Kelly would have done. And I know I hate going back to the Brian Kelly comparisons, but he absolutely would have thrown people under the bus because it made him look like it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, exactly. That's not Freeman. Yeah.
I love what I watched, just like you did on Monday. I watched Freeman's press conference. There was a lot of people dragging him during his press conference in the comment section, a lot of people that are on this show. I was perfectly okay with everything he said. I hate cameras in the locker room. I don't think coaches say what they truly want to say to their teams anymore because everything is being recorded because they want to make a social media dollar. I want these coaches to be able to say to their teams what they want to say. I hope you're I believe you're right, and I hope you're right that I think Freeman sat that football team down on Monday and said, "This was us.
Yeah,
this was us. You guys did everything that you were supposed to do to win this football game."
Freeman is
we failed.
Freeman's so in touch and genuine. He knows that's the right thing to do. I am 100%.
I would agree.
Yeah, I am 100% confident. The first team meeting after the game, with the immediacy of all that discussion was had, and he says, "We effed up and we put you guys in a bad spot, and we promise it ain't gonna happen again. And we all need to get together this week and get it back on track." But you're never going to hear another word or explanation about it. That window is passed, and they're not going to keep ripping open that wound as we get down the road. Now, it surprised me though, Pat. It was telling. I've been saying this was not a regular moment, and everybody needs to be truthful and acknowledge that. You know what proof of that was? That it wasn't just in my heart. To have those guys talk about plays that happened in the last game on a Wednesday in press conferences, that never happens. Okay, I'm being very clear. By Wednesday, it's all about the next opponent. The fact that Al Golden's in there answering questions about this shit, it tells me they even acknowledge there is a longer runoff of this one.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
whatever,
and
they can say whatever they want to say to the media. I don't care. It's about what they're talking about to the football team. And I think somebody said it on the Monday show that I just want to see a pissed off football team on Saturday.
Yep, that's it.
That's all I want. I don't think these guys should be down. I think these guys should be angry.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They need to come out there and show that anger and do the work that they need to do.
Yeah.
This is as much as devastating. Being in that stadium, being 50-yard line, 40 rows up, as devastating as it was to be there and watch that, and just to have that let down, and then have to get the hell out of there and sit in traffic and listen to everybody blame me for the loss on your call-in show after the game.
Yeah,
I think Notre Dame is in a better position and is in a position to have a true statement game. If you can go out there and not just beat a win with Duke suffices. Beating Duke, however it looks, suffices. It moves you past Ohio State.
Yeah.
All right. Beating Duke in whatever fashion on the road, primetime game day. It moves you past Ohio State in whatever
wins are the ultimate palate cleanser. Wins are the ultimate palate cleanser.
Correct.
Nobody can even begin to really heal until you get that loss off your mouth. And it's like, okay, we're on the winning track again. And then I think you're going to see me and other people start to be able to lighten up on this a little bit. But you got it. And it's just like, Pat, it's a tough dynamic because the vibes that were all for Notre Dame last week are all against them this week with game day and the road game and the undefeated and excited. And you actually want to be there. That's all working against us this week.
And by all the guys that are blaming me. All right, let's talk about the guy from Hawaii for a second. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I appreciate anyone who spends their money to travel to Notre Dame games.
God bless that guy.
But this is a statement game of statement games for Notre Dame. You were the better team on Saturday night against Ohio. You truly were the better team. You made mistakes that cost you the game, mistakes that you forced on yourself, that Ohio State did not force upon you. You made those mistakes. That's why you lost that game. You were the better football team, and you lost because you shot yourself in the foot. With that said, you have the ability to rectify that situation. And a 24-21 game, it moves you past Ohio State. A 42-10 game, changes the narrative completely. You just blew up a football team that everyone was saying is one of the best defenses in the country. You just blow it up. You blow it up and you can move forward. And then people will truly start to take Notre Dame serious. And then you got a schedule where you could blow up Louisville again in a primetime game. And then you got USC coming in your house. And then your season lives or dies on that football game.
Yep.
You could truly put yourself into the playoff by knocking off the reigning Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Yeah.
You can. You absolutely can.
Yep. And
Pat,
I like the way that you broke this down in the way we built up the beginning part of that schedule, the first 4 with the ramp up into Ohio State. And that was like a big segment we were looking at. You are absolutely right about the path moving forward. If you do that to Duke and you do that to Louisville and everybody's watching, guess what you're going to have?
Right.
Another mega build up for USC coming here. And we're going to do all of that Ohio State build up again for USC.
Yeah.
Everybody get ready because we're doing it again.
And I legitimately want Ohio State to go undefeated and make the playoff this year because I want them again. And I want Notre Dame to whip their ass in a playoff game because I don't think it'll be anywhere near close if Notre Dame plays this well. If Notre Dame continues to progress and get better and they do everything that they're supposed to do, I don't think Ohio State will be able to match up Notre Dame again. I just don't. I don't see it. I think Notre Dame is going to have learned too much from this experience to do what they did again, to not score any points, to have some of these negative plays, to give up a big touchdown run like they did. They can truly come out and dominate this Ohio State football team. Sorry, Kent, I do believe this to be the case. And then I want Marcus Freeman at the end of the game to go out and say, "Where's Lou Holtz at? This was for him."
Oh, I like that, man. Bring it full circle. I like that. Hey, I know you liked that video with the Catholics convicts cut up there with Lou. It was just perfect, man. The timing of that's perfect. Anything else, Pat? Really good insight, man. Thank you.
No, is Jose Alvino? Are you the Hawaii guy?
I don't think so, because I don't think it is. I think that's a different guy. I think Jose's been here before. Yeah, different guy. Okay. I feel bad for that poor guy. I mean, he might start choosing active duty in a war zone over doing this any longer. I'm serious. That guy, poor guy. He's in the military.
Yeah,
he might rather do that. Oh,
he's got worse left than me. And then the one thing is like, Pat, you got to stop going to big games. Notre Dame always loses. Okay, by the way, over the last 15 years, anybody that goes through a big game with Notre Dame, they lose.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, nobody should go. Yeah, nobody should go except
nobody should go.
That's a very good point. Oh, Pat, have a good one, buddy. Really good call today. Thank you.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
John, I don't know if I'll be able to make the show tonight.
Okay.
My cousin in Raleigh-Durham asked me to drive out there and hang out with him this weekend.
You're full. Don't do this. You're an asshole. Bye. You're a jerk. Get out of here. Bye. You're out. What a jerk. It is him, Pat. It is. Oh, my God, this poor man. All right, I got a couple donators. 808's one of them. If I missed you and you're a donator, let me know. I don't want to do that to you, okay? Let me know. 202, we're talking to you. What's going on?
I'm doing slightly better, John. How are you?
Are you? I just, everybody grieves differently and handles these things differently. I admit I have not done a good job and I'm a little embarrassed, and I would hope I could be more emotionally mature than I've been this week. And I'm just not there. And at least I'm self-aware enough to admit that. It's been a long week and I'm struggling and I hate it.
I'm with you, my dear brother. Calling in really only to demonstrate I'm not a bandwagoner, and have to admit when the loves of your life have screwed up, but we can't not love them. And that was essentially what my chat was about.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so galactically bad.
It is.
And
it is.
Yeah. So well,
you could have, wait, let me say this.
I don't know.
Tell me if you agree with this. If Notre Dame played a tough, good, pretty solid game against Ohio State, like not a bunch of mistakes, but just played like a solid game, I would argue they could have lost this game by 10 points and it would have been a better situation than the way it ended, the way it did. Because of the way it ended. It isn't the win or the loss. It's the way you did it in this moment. Like, I would have felt less worse if we lost by a touchdown and they were just ahead by a score the whole game than doing it this way, where you are totally in position and your own moves cost you this moment in this situation. That's a worse look to me almost.
It is. And the thought that won't leave my head is what's one of the things we love about Marcus, his central mission as a coach, what he says almost every time he's interviewed. My job is to put my guys whom I love in a position to make success.
Yep.
If they give me any effort, I'm going to kill myself to put them in position to have success.
Yep.
And he didn't.
Yep.
And then the coup de grace,
tough messaging.
The dagger on top of the dagger. The fact that we had 10 men on the field during Tennessee State and the coaches didn't come together and say, okay, let's do this. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Let's keep a special watch on that particular issue.
Yep.
And they didn't. And, look, mistakes were made. Player number 2, honey, don't go for the interception. Don't be a hero. Just bat the freaking ball down. If you get a hand on it, you bat it down. Stop trying to be Deion Sanders. But look, there were so many mistakes, but largely coaching. Our boys walked in that stadium like they were going before a firing squad. And you compare what they looked like last year walking into our stadium with Clemson there. It was to a person. Hi, Clemson, we are going to legally murder you. Actual death on our field, but it's going to be okay because we're privileged because this is a football game. We walked in our own stadium last Saturday hoping not to die. Where did that messaging come from? Man, I don't understand it. It didn't.
Don't you admit, though, that in this big moment, that's about the best the Notre Dame teams come out looking like they're prepared? Like, they match the energy before you even worry about the X's and O's. Like, under the last coach and then as messed up as last year was, you didn't know if you were going to get that matched energy in the big moment. Don't you feel like good that at least Marcus knows how to get those guys cranked up to match that energy? That's been an issue here for 25 years in big games. Those guys were ready to play, and that is one of the things on the plus side. They matched that big energy vibe. We're fired up and ready to go. That's a good sign.
I saw scaredy catness, honestly. It's just that our guys truly are elite players. We've gotten to that point. That is Marcus's doing. All credit in the world. They are talented. They all do have an excellent work ethic, and praise be to Bayless, they're all in phenomenal shape physically.
Yeah, I've been thinking of that too.
That's what's got them through.
Yeah, I've been thinking of that too. And so then let me ask you this then. What is the way out of this? This is a 25 to 30-year pattern of these big moment failures for one reason or another. Some of them are blowouts, some of them are more like this, whatever. The only way to change it is to change it. And I got the feeling that once Freeman and this group gets over that hump and breaks the seal and gets one, that pressure kind of goes away. We're not a running meme. That goes down. And I have a feeling it might open the floodgates up as far as like, look, we did this. We could do it. I feel like all it might take is one success in one of those moments, but we just need it. When are we going to get it? Like, it just seems to be a mountain we can't get over.
Well, nothing that happens this season is going to fix what happened Saturday, and there's no possible way on this planet we're getting into the playoffs. I can't even hear that talk.
That was my
question
to you.
We're now 13th in the coaches
That
poll.
was my question. If you go 11-1 and get in the playoff, that would have to make you feel better about it because you accomplished your ultimate goal. But you're saying you just don't see it happening because we have this loss now?
They're not going to let us in the playoff when we had 10 men on the field. It's a clutch moment on a goal line stand at the end of the game. It's just, they're not going to do it. And when you look at the polls, explain to me how Ohio State barely covers and had a hell of a lot of ref help in doing it. They go up to 4th and 3rd in the polls. We are at home. We barely lost. And we get downgraded to 11 and 13th. They want us far enough down the chart that we can never climb back up into the top 6. And look, USC, I can't even talk about it, but that's just not happening. So
we're like 2 or 3 weeks away and you're already on it. I love it. Hey, by the way, you want to talk pressure? I'm not there yet. We have 2 tough games to get through. You want to talk about pressure? USC was already a must win because you can't be the Notre Dame coach and start 0-2 against USC. You just can't do it. It was already an absolute must win. After what you just did in your biggest home game that we've had in like 20 years, it is a triple, double, quadruple must win. No excuses or it's going to get ugly. Sorry, I'm just saying that the staff did this to themselves. They're in a corner now. You got to beat USC or this is going to be bad. That's all I'm saying.
I think everyone knows it's just not possible.
Well, we'll see. I'm not ready to go there
yet.
yet.
With these D-backs, I love Ben Morrison, but he's 5'11", guarding MH Jr., who's 6'4". I mean, what the heck was he supposed to do? And, player number 2, we already know who that is. Player number 5, I think, is a terrific person, but he's not ready for that air attack. And in terms of Marcus, I have seen, or at least in the beginning of the weekend, I was seeing chatter that he wanted to lose, like out of fealty to his alma mater. It is absolutely ludicrous. But I do think
that's a good one.
He's got a bugaboo in his head about Ohio State, and it freaks him out. And I think he remembers when he played at Ohio State and they were much better then. And so he walks in thinking we're playing the Tom Brady Patriots.
Oh, wow.
Freaked himself out and he freaked out the rest of the staff.
Buckeye
PTSD. Out the players.
Self-imposed Buckeye PTSD. Wow. Man.
If any other jerseys had been on those opposing boys last week, we'd kill. It's like 35-14 and they would wish for death. They aren't even good. And if they had been any other team playing like that, demolished. Absolutely demolished.
Oh, man.
Clemson, even USC. If USC were only as good as this trashy Ohio State team, we would destroy them. There is something in his head. He was freaked from jump. It makes me so sad. And I don't know how Al Golden is here next year.
That might not surprise me. Even if it went good, it wouldn't surprise me. If he went to be an analyst or retired or joined the league with one of his buddies, and then they moved Mike Mickens over, like, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Marcus and Mickens are like best friends. That's his road dog, his recruiting dog. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that happened. And then Mickens, and he's a great recruiting and developer too. So anything else, my friend? It's going to be a long day Saturday too. We're going to have to wait a long time to get through this one. And nobody's in the mood. Any final thoughts?
Thank you for this forum, John. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for giving us all a safe space to be crazy and goofy, and unfortunately this week to grieve. It really matters. I know everyone here on this line agrees with me, but it can't be said enough. You're doing God's work, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see y'all later.
Thank you very
Go
much.
Irish.
Yeah,
Bye.
it means a lot. Thank you. And I genuinely do mean it when I say to you guys, like, I just feel like this is my purpose. Like, I know that seems silly to some people or whatever. This is my purpose. Like, I'm convinced of that. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had those moments or whatever where, like, you just feel a calling and, like, you just know, like, this is it. This is it. Like, this is it for me. This is my purpose in life. This is my role. This is where I fit into, like, whatever. This is what fulfills me. This is what makes me feel like I have purpose. And I know it's stupid. I'm just a guy yelling in his basement about football. But I know how much it means to all these people. I just feel like this is my role in life, or that this is my thing, man. I don't know. I feel like an odd calling that this is just what I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I have peace with that. I have peace with that. Honolulu on the air. What's going on, man?
Hey, John.
Hey.
Hey, John. I want to respond to Pat.
Yeah.
You know when I became a fan of Notre Dame?
When's that?
You know, John, it took me showing up in 2012 to campus as a student to get our undefeated season.
Oh, man.
Only time we lost that year was when I was not there. So that's my first reply to Pat.
There you
I
go.
only went to one loss. In my first 2 years as a Notre Dame fan, I only saw one loss against Oklahoma. I was like 12-1.
Man, that's a good record. I just feel bad, man, for you. It's a lot of miserable travel. When you travel, you're that far for games. You're excited to get there. And if they go bad, it's a lot of pain trying to get going the other way. Are you going to I think you said one a year, right? One a year usually because of the travel. So what's the next one you're going to be at? Are you even looking at that yet?
I mean, next year, the ones I could go is either Texas A&M or USC one. It just depends when I can get leave.
Yeah, and both of those are road games. Obviously, the USC one would be easier for you to get to. That's for sure. But man, I applaud you, man. That is incredible loyalty. You've been all over the place, and we're just gonna keep blaming Pat for the losses, not you, man. We'll just blame Pat for it all. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, let's quit blaming Pat. I mean, and then John, I hear you, and I feel like I'm missing something of you from the past. Like, we lost the battle, but we didn't lose the war. Didn't you say, like, last year or 2 years ago, you wanted CJ Carr because you were willing to ride the pains of a high-ceiling quarterback, and then he was going to make, like, dumb mistakes his first years when he was, like, a freshman? Well, Marcus Freeman is the freshman. He has the higher ceiling.
That's a good...
He had the dumb mistakes in the first year.
That's a fair point. But my rebuttal to you would be, I can't entertain the CJ Carr part of that because Hartman at year 6 is not that. And I just kind of wanted more than 0 points at halftime from a guy that's broken every ACC passing record. I know I'm asking for a lot, but 0 ain't enough when that guy's broken every record in the league. That's upsetting.
No, that I understand that. Like, the game wasn't lost in the last drive. The game wasn't lost in the fact that we didn't have, like, at least 10 on halftime.
Yeah. But so what do you make of Duke, man? Do you think the team's going to do a better job than I am of moving on and kicking the crap out of them and getting back on track? How are you viewing that? Are you nervous at all? Or are you confident they're going to be pissed off and go in there and hit somebody?
John, you're not going to like it. I'm not saying we're going to lose. We're going to win. But it's going to be a one-score game. It's going to be a redemption of a close game. Because, like, basically, if you analyze Duke versus us, statistically, they're the better team. Like, they're more efficient. If you go, like, they make more points out of every yard that they get. Because when you see that, like, we lost so many drives. Like, we had, 9 drives against Ohio State, and we scored in 2 of them. Like, if you see Duke versus Clemson, they score, like, way more points out of their drives. So, like, the issue is we got to score the points where we're losing, or it's going to come to the wire again.
Yeah, and it's just nobody's in the mood for that, man. Like, none of this fan base is in the mood to wait around all day for a night game at Duke where they are all excited and we are miserable. Like, the dynamics here are just tricky. Marcus has got to get these guys angry and take it all out on Duke. All of our feelings, the collective chat, the phone calls, me, all of that vibe, they need to channel into anger and take it out on Duke.
Yep. All right, and then I want to leave you with one parting thought.
Okay.
What do you want? What does John and everybody else want for Notre Dame? We want respect around the country.
That's beautiful.
In the past.
That's beautiful. I like the reference, buddy.
In the past, the U.S. Navy was disrespected. Our country was disrespected. It took us to build our fleet and defeat the Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia of the world in Spain in the Spanish-American War for us to get respected. You have to beat that one first. We lost our chance to do that against Ohio State. However, just like the mission of the Navy is to recruit, train, and equip and organize our forces to win conflicts and wars, Marcus is recruiting, and we're gonna keep recruiting and building our fleet. We're gonna keep doing that, and eventually we're gonna be one of the big five. And once that's done, we're gonna enter that realm, the higher level when teams can win championships.
I like it. I get the parallels. And I also agree with you that I have a feeling of if Notre Dame's ever able to emerge victorious in one of these, it cracks the seal and then you can do it. And it might be off to the races from there. Hey, man, I'm really glad you started calling in more. I really appreciate it, man. You have a different perspective on all this that I appreciate. Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Have a good one, buddy. Man, I like that, dude. It's just a different type of call, seeing where he's coming from. That's beautiful. 707, what's going on?
Hey, John. I'm happy to have heard that guy that just called. He's good, positive. I'm so disappointed in that girl that called. I mean, for her to say Notre Dame came out like scaredy cats is just crazy. I mean, what game was she watching? What was it? Football? Was it Notre Dame football? They came out and they dominated. For most of the game, they dominated. These guys got one touchdown at the end of the game, and they got one touchdown on a run that was holding that wasn't called. There's no way you can tell me that wasn't a hold.
Oh, it was.
Harrison.
Oh, it was double-fisted hold. Double-fisted hold. There's still shots of it. Not one hand. It was double-fisted hold. But, whatever. I'm telling you, man, I've gotten to know her. She's hurting. I'm telling you, man, she's hurting. She takes this stuff kind of like I do in certain ways, and I don't wish that on anyone. She's miserable, and she's hurting, and she's trying to process it, and it's not easy. I'm just telling you, like, she is kind of being the way I am, and that's not good, but she's trying to fight through it and process it. I personally...
Well, if that's the case, that's the case, then everyone grieves in their own way. I can't take it away from you either. I mean, and I also know that is a way that listeners are going to tune in more because of all the discomfort and anger and regret of that last game.
Yeah,
that happens. And it's like, this is the way sports goes. I'm sitting here looking at, not many people were thinking we were going to go 12-0. So we still have 2/3 of those 3 tough games that we were looking at. And now we can add Duke. I mean, to me, this is exciting.
Yeah. But dude, here's what it is. Here's what it is. What it is it's how it happened, man. I'm telling you, if we played a good, decent game and lost by like 7 or 10 points, the narrative would be, yeah, we're frustrated, but Notre Dame isn't quite there yet. And, and they hung in there. But like, it's the way this went down is the problem here. I don't think it's just that you lost to Ohio State. The circumstances are making the reaction 100 times worse. At least for me, I know they are.
Yeah. I would dissect every loss as pointing to something or, someone or whatever. But, Marcus Freeman, I mean, he was not intimidated by having those colors come into Notre Dame Stadium. I mean, that was a tremendous game. I mean, you can't look at that game and say it was horrible. Like, both teams played really good. The team that had the ball last won. That's how it went. But boy, right up until the end, I'll bet there was no Ohio State fans that were thinking they were going to win, because throughout the game, it was mostly Notre Dame making plays and not them. The only things they were doing that killed us was third down, and that 3rd and 19 was the absolute killer.
Yeah.
But their third down conversions were what saved them.
Yeah.
And really, they only had 2 drives, in that last drive of the game. That's what was the deciding factor. It's like,
you know what I want to do? I do want to give their young quarterback credit. I saw a tweet that came out with the 3rd and long and 4th down plays he made and the throws he made. And I understand he has exceptional talent to get the ball to. In those moments, for him to deliver the handful of throws he absolutely had to complete to keep them in this game and give them a chance to win it. I'll be damned if that young guy in his first year as the starter didn't go ahead and do it. And I got to give him credit for that. While I want to insult us for letting it happen, I got to give credit to the guy. He's not a freshman. He's been around the program, but a first-time starter in that environment with the whole world watching. That kid delivered, and I got to give him credit for it. As much as I hate it, I have to. It's the fair thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. I hate it, though.
Yeah, we gave him too many chances, and he finally got enough of that kind of experience to say, "Oh my God, this team saved me again. I can go out and play one more time." And we just let that happen too many times for him to get enough confidence in that final drive to say, there's the throw, I'm making it, and it happened. But boy, up until then, it's a very close. It's a 3-point game. That's what Vegas predicted it was going to be, and they're usually right. So, I can't dwell on it just because. And I went to that USC in 05 game, and I went to a lot of games that were big and crucial. And there's no team that I wanted to beat more in all my history of Notre Dame than Ohio State this past Saturday. There's no one more that I wanted it more against.
Yeah, and it was a weird dynamic, man. And the reason why is it's just the overlapping of different circumstances that built into this in the place it was in the Freeman era and his history with that team, the way we don't get along with their fans. Like, it was just a whole bunch of stuff in a blender that made this bigger than what it actually was. And it was right there for us, man. And people are having a hard time handling it. And I am too.
Yeah, I'm not really. I know that and I'll say this, I don't agree often with Patrick Cotter, but this last call he made, he said almost everything right, except for that thing at the end with Holtz. But, for the most part, everything he was saying was right on. So, you just got to take it as we weren't going to go undefeated. Most people knew that. It's too tough of a schedule. And it's like, this is what makes it fun to me.
I'm telling you, though.
But this is what makes it fun to me.
This is
what rooting for Notre Dame is like. What though the odds, man? It's like, this is what we do all the time. And when we're good, it's usually a very tough schedule that we have to fight through.
Yeah.
And this is what we're seeing this year. So it's like, to me, this has been an exciting year. And we have nothing to be ashamed of other than, taking 10 guys on the field. That's just not forgivable, but you have to get it past it. And I know that, like Pat said, the coaches aren't going to say anything to the media. They don't need to say anything to us. What counts is getting everybody back on the same page.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And getting
say.
angry.
And
getting angry about it and just taking it out on Duke, which is going to be tough. Like, I will be happy with a 1-point win. I just want to get out of there with a W so that we can pursue USC, Clemson, Louisville. We just have to keep putting the W's up, and we'll see where the chips fall. Now, typically Notre Dame with one loss, they don't really look highly upon that. But when you look at the season and what the teams wind up being, Duke was 9-4 last year with Leonard. They won 9 games last year with him, and their defense was really better than their offense. So this year they're scoring 40 points a game on everybody, and their defense is still good. So this is going to be a great game. I mean, it's that's why ESPN has this next game. Because they know that really Notre Dame's the hot team in town. They lost one, and ESPN would like nothing more than to step on their throats and make them look bad.
Oh yeah.
In a second game in a row. But this is what I love. This is why you love or hate Notre Dame, and I love them, and I'm ready to see them go out and forget about last week.
Here's the one thing I'm going to do to push back on you a little bit on your stance.
Go ahead.
Okay?
I love it.
Let me do this to you.
Yeah.
Let me do this to you.
Do it.
You got to understand, the people my age or younger have never been on the plus side of all the stuff you're talking about. If you're my age, you've never, ever had it where we're the ones that end up winning in one of these, have the bragging rights, have the credibility, like win the big one. If you're my age or younger, we've never had it. It's all been only the negative and in the wildest ways you could imagine. And that is
Exactly.
that's hard, man. That's really hard because we've never experienced it on the plus side. I have not felt what 88 was like. I have not felt what beating Florida State was like. I was too young to realize it. I didn't get to go out and drink my face off after Catholics convicts. Like, all right, my people, my age, we missed all of it. And it's only been the bad, man. So I think we are more traumatized by this because it's literally been our entire existence, and we have nothing to balance it out with. It's all on that side, and that is why people my age and younger are struggling, I think. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is. And certainly, the USC 05 Bush Push game, like I said, I was there, and that was devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, and then now you talk about Ohio State. So you're talking about two of the biggest games for Notre Dame in your life that went right to the end on the last play in that same side of the field, the same kind of a play where it's that close. I mean, your gut is wrenched. I get
man,
it.
I had an existential breakdown when that started to develop. I was like shaking. I'm like, no. I just kept going, no. And then it kept looking more and more like that last USC drive. And then the more it looked like it, the more I was like, this isn't going to happen to me again. All of our people, this isn't going to happen to us again. It can't. And I'll be damned if it didn't play out almost identical. I just can't.
It was you're right. It was almost identical.
Even where that ball, where they ran it in, it was on the hash right where it was for Bush. And their guys jumping around in the court. It was all the same. And it's enough to make me lose my mind. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it was almost identical. And I'm not meaning to laugh because I do feel your pain. I can't let myself dwell on that because I feel like Notre Dame is really here and they're really one of the elite teams this year. And this was a team that we had it in the bag and we let it go. And there's no guarantee that had we had 11 guys on the field that they wouldn't have scored. They might have scored standing up for all we know.
Yeah.
So I can't let it dwell when there's so much more of the season that's huge. Duke and USC and Clemson. I mean, these are great games coming up. You can't let it hurt you as much. And I think another thing, John, for you is that you go on the social media, so it relives itself every single moment that you're on there.
Yes,
I don't do it.
Dude, I'm telling you,
I don't do social media.
I kind of have to when you're doing this business. That's the way you promote. You put a link to the show on Twitter, and all those people see it and come in.
Right.
You got to do it for the business. There was a point Sunday where there was.
Well, then put the link up and then get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's killing you. It's killing you.
I know.
I see it. I mean, you wrote me that email, and I felt your pain, man.
Mid Sunday, there got to be a point where I put the phone down, closed my laptop, and I didn't have no music, no nothing. And I went on the deck and I just sat there and just looked at the sky. And I needed that. I needed to turn it off, get away from it, shut it down. No, I didn't. And I just sat there and stared at the clouds going by. And it was healthy for me. Like, you are right, man. But you know what else, though? I deserve this.
What?
I deserve this. And what I mean by that is when you do what I do, and you do it the way I do, and you are the emotion show. How does this all make you feel and all that? When you do that, sometimes you get burned by that, and this is what this is. This is what it is, and I just got to face the music, man. It's been a rough week, but beat the hell out of Duke, and I'll be in a better mood. How about that?
That sounds good to me, John. I'll let you take some other callers.
Oh, thank you, man.
Get your head, get your mindset. Get yourself right because it's still such an exciting season. I mean, we are a good team and we have great games ahead. I'm looking forward to that USC game. I'm looking forward for redemption.
Yeah.
But I'm not even thinking about that yet. I am kind of just because I mentioned it, but I want Duke. If we can escape with a 1-point win, I'll be thrilled. That one guy you said 48-14 or something. That guy's dreaming. That ain't going to happen. But if we can get out of there with a win, I'll take it.
Yeah, listen, this is one of the games. You watch the summer shows. I always say there are certain games on the schedule that I say this one ain't about pretty points. This one is like you just need to grind through it and get a win and get the hell out of there. NC State was one of those, and this is one too because of these dynamics. Do I want it to be impressive? Do I want it not to be close and all that? Hell yeah. You got to grind this one out, fight through it even while everybody's miserable, get the damn win, level the seas, okay? But thank you for worrying about my mental health. But there ain't nothing you can do, buddy.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing you can do. This has been on a 38-year sideways track, okay? But I appreciate your genuine concern.
All right, my friend. Go Irish.
Have a good one. Go Irish.
God bless.
Yeah, thank you. What a nice guy. John, is there a storyline here between Elko and Freeman? If ND loses, do we question if we hired the wrong DC? Duke is punching above their weight. The issue is, I don't know how you measure all the other stuff. Like, that's where I have trouble with it. Because people want to make this like defense and defense or whatever. But is Elko ever going to walk into a room and recruit the way Freeman can? I don't know. But maybe you're going to say if he is better at like the fundamental stuff of football, maybe that balances that out. Like, I can't just look at like what the defenses are doing to make that evaluation. Because when you're talking about a head coach, there's 20 other things wrapped into it. I love Mike Elko. I think Michigan State should call him. Michigan State should jump on Mike Elko, give him a boatload of money, and you know you're going to be fundamentally sound, and they want to play good defense. You know you're going to get good defense if Mike Elko's there. And with all the issues off the field Michigan State has, if you bring Mike Elko in there, you never have any of those worries. You'll never have any of those worries because he is going to make sure that everything's running right. But that's the issue, Andrew, I have is it isn't that simple. It's all that other stuff. Like, nobody could deny Marcus Freeman has a much more outgoing, engaging personality than Mike Elko. Does that make him a better coach? I don't know, yes or no. So that's tough. But I do know this. These are two of the good guys in this sport. And everybody should want to see him succeed in a profession full of professional snakes. Freeman and Elko are two of the good guys. Everybody should want them to succeed because we need more of them in that business that treat people the right way and have that head coaching credibility. There's not a lot of them that I genuinely respect. But man, whoever gets Elko, it's going to be a hell of a job because he's a really good coach. 309, you're on the line. What's going on?
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. What's up, buddy?
All right, man. I've been waiting to have this conversation for sure.
Well, what's on your mind? Where are you at in the grieving process? Should we all just act like it didn't happen and move on to Duke, or are you still tossing and turning at night? Where are you at?
No, I've reached the point of acceptance. I'm good. I'm ready to lay it on Duke and move forward. I think they're going to win by 10.
Yeah, it's a big week, man. It's a very important week to get back. And I do want to ask, I've been asking other callers, am I exaggerating what a big week this is for the staff and for these guys to come out and show that they're not in the dumpster after that game? Like, I just think it's a critical moment for Freeman and the staff and the player leadership too, to make sure these guys are ready. Do you agree, or am I overblowing it?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I think, what made me really confident was I heard Sampson say something about how Notre Dame historically has bounced back from these type of losses. Mm-hmm. Like, you look at Georgia 17, Georgia 19, Clemson 15. Like, Notre Dame we historically bounce back from these losses and we come hard.
Yeah. I've seen those moments too. It's just, these are particularly non-ideal circumstances because of the way that game ended, and then because of what Duke is thinking they are and believing they are in the moment. There's just the vibes are so clearly one trending up, feeling good about themselves, and the other in the dumpster trying to climb out. There's no way to not make that real, because it is real. These feelings are real. The humans are real. That's the vibe. Notre Dame needs to show their mental toughness, and we are not letting what happened at the end of that game last week derail the whole damn season. Not going to let it happen. Can't let it happen.
Right. And I'm confident as well, because I think that, I hope at least that they're going to come out and let Hartman really let it rip. And I want to see some big shot plays to Tyree, some big shot plays to Greathouse, and really open up the playbook here.
Yeah. It would not surprise me at all if you see Hartman with a little extra juice this week. He's got to be extremely frustrated. So I would expect to see him with a little extra juice. This might be a game where I go, you know what, Audric, they don't even have to say it, but in Freeman's mind, he might think we should have gave him a chance to win the game for us. This might be an Audric game too. If you wanted to decide we are pissed off and we are just going to fire off the line and try and cram it down your throat. If this is one of those games where you go, Audric, we're in a rough spot, do what you do, and we're going to let you cook, I'd be fine with that too. If they decided we're just going to do that and take out our anger and let our guy run at you, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. And I just wanted to say, listen to all these phone calls. I feel like I realized, so I'm a clinical mental health counselor myself. And I feel like, John, you are our therapist. That's what you are.
Hey, I don't know if you ever heard my history. I mean, I have a graduate degree in clinical psychology. So maybe that's why, man, maybe that's why this show is turned the way it has into my lane. That's kind of unique.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming from that background.
This is what you are.
I'm coming from that background of how does it make you think and feel, and how did we get there, and how do we get out of it? Maybe some of that, and I know I just scared everybody in the chat when they heard that I have a graduate degree in clinical counseling. I understand that freaks them out. Maybe that's the reason I'm not doing that full time. Or maybe you say this is that, just in a different way. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is catharsis for people. Seriously, this is catharsis for people. And I think that's what's going to happen this weekend is we're going to come out and dominate, and it'll be a cathartic experience. I'm glad it's this weekend. I would hate if this weekend was Tennessee State. Yeah.
It's you might be right about that. But maybe it's good to know you're going in facing a team that wants to beat you and is feeling good right now. I know this. I respect Mike Elko a lot. He is going to have his squad ready. And I don't know how much talent they have, but I know this, they're going to play their asses off. You are going to get their best because Mike Elko knows this moment. He is going to have those guys prepared, and Notre Dame's got to blunt it, match it, overcome it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I'm trying to look at the positives here. Okay. Yeah. I wish it was a day game. I wish it was this. I wish it was that. But the bottom line is this is an opportunity for Notre Dame to come out and show what kind of team you are. And this is the perfect time to go do that.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. You're right. Very, very critical week for Marcus. The magnifying glass is zoomed right in on that coaching staff. Everyone's going to be analyzing every little thing now. And it's not going to be an ideal situation. This is the week, man. That staff needs to have a great week and find a way to get everybody's mind in a better place than mine is.
Amen. Yeah. Hey, I just want to say I set my watch to this every Friday. I appreciate you, and go Irish. Let's get a great W.
Hey, thank you very much, my friend. And if you're in that business, keep trying to help people, man. You're doing your part. Have a good weekend, and don't let Notre Dame hold you down. I know that's scary for people to know that that's my educational background. But I don't know. I'm weird in the head, you guys, if you haven't figured that out. But I never really thought about it that way. But it makes perfect sense why this show is that lane of thinking and feeling and all that. If that's my background, it kind of makes sense. But I don't know. 773, you're talking to me. Tom, how are you, buddy?
I am, to be honest with you, I feel like dog shit.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because I put the Ohio State game in my rearview mirror about an hour and a half after the ball game. I went and I looked at and I watched the tape of the game. And here's what's the problem that nobody's talking about. And the problem is that you've got Al Golden as a defensive coordinator that was a head coach. And they were getting gassed up the middle on the seam routes and the undercrossing routes. Notre Dame will not beat Duke if they don't come out and have a different formation. The lady that called earlier that was bitching about Ben Morrison and Cam Hart, she was off her rocker. Marvin Harrison had 3 catches for 32 yards. Do you know why that was, lady? Because Ben Morrison was on his ass all day. Where they got gassed was by Ibuka, and that happened in the middle of the field. Because J.D. Bertrand cannot cover passes. The blitzing is horrendous with Leofau. He never gets there. And then when he does get there, he's out of control. The defense has to circle the wagon. If I'm Marcus Freeman today, I get everybody circled the wagons and go in with a new game plan. You got to play underneath coverage. I would actually put a third linebacker in there. Get rid of that goddamn Aztec package because Ohio State took you to the cleaners.
Yeah. You know,
I'm sorry. You're pissed off. I'm pissed off because, and here's the thing that we didn't see, John. We bullshitted ourselves as Notre Dame fans because we had a quarterback of substance for the first time since Brady Quinn, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We've known all along that we've had a porous goddamn defense. Go back to the 3 national championship teams of 73, 77, and 88. Guess what was on those teams? All Americans all over the defense that had long pro careers. This defense, nada. Until he gets these underclassmen and the other recruits coming in that can play at that level, Notre Dame will be 9-3, 10, they'll be 9-3 seasons. You're not going to run the table having a porous goddamn defense. You're just not.
Can I ask you, obviously I understand your frustration. Let me ask you, do you at least feel like Notre Dame's getting closer to being able to physically match up with these teams? Like, I felt like
there's no question.
Yeah, but you're just not.
There's no question.
But there's a few pieces that aren't there. Yeah, there's a few pieces that aren't there to get over the top.
No, they're not there. They don't have a pass rush.
Yeah.
They couldn't rush Mount Carmel's Caravan. They couldn't find a pass rush in the Chicago Catholic League. How the Christ are they going to do it in big time college football? You just can't.
Yeah.
Without any kind of pressure. If they put a scintilla of pressure in the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds of that game on McCord, Notre Dame wins going away. But it's you're not going to get that going into Duke, who has an underrated defense. And I'm going to tell you what, their safeties are a lot better than people are giving them credit for, and they play disciplined football. I'm telling you, the whole season is Saturday. Pat was talking about USC in another couple of weeks. I'm worried about USC. I'm worried about Duke. If they dump on Saturday, season's over, lads.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
Then if they get beat by Duke, here's what I would do. I would get Drake Bowen, Jaden Osbury. I'd get these kids in there. Let them get big-time college action because you're not going to win a national championship with Kaiser and J.D. Bertrand and Maris Leofau in the middle. I'm sorry.
Tom,
I've been watching I've been watching football and playing it and coaching it since 1970. It's not there, John.
Yep. And I think that's an honest frustration, and I can hear it in your voice. And I understand what you're saying, though. And in a lot of ways, Notre Dame was more capable of physically hanging with one of these elite teams than they ever have been in the last 20 years. I agree with that. However, when you really look at it, there's a few pieces missing, and it tells you maybe Notre Dame's getting closer, but they are not quite there yet. And you know what else, Tom, that I noticed? People have been referencing what a good job Notre Dame did holding down Harrison, and they shaded coverage over there, and he only had, whatever, we kept him in check. Right. But then Ibuka got you. This is the whole idea. This is the whole idea. You get enough good guys that they can't double and cover everybody. Somebody's going to be open and make a play. That's the path. That's the path. You load your offense with so many good guys. Go ahead and double the top one. The other guy's going to make a play. And then Fleming can make a play on fourth down. That's where Notre Dame's working towards, and they're not there yet. But, Tom, I feel it in your soul, buddy. Tom, I feel it in your soul. We need to meet in Chicago and have a beer, talk about it.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to do that. And here's the other thing I wanted to tell you about. You're not old enough to remember. On the positive, I'm well old enough to remember what the 73 national championship and 77 national championship looked like. Geez, you talk about that end zone where the Bush push was. You remember what else was over there? That same end zone was Harry Albert's 51-yard field goal against Michigan.
Yeah.
In 1980. The snowball game. Yep. Pat Farrell's batted down pass against Miami was in that. So, there were some heartbreaking moments in that end zone. And when Pete Burkett struck
Tom, you got to understand, though, all of the good ones you just mentioned, nobody my age or younger can remember. That's the problem, buddy, is nobody my age or younger got to enjoy any of the plus side of anything happening. It's only the bad, right when John exists. Right when John got born, there was a hex put on the whole thing or something.
Well, listen, I had to suffer with them with all the bad ones too. But you know what? Thank God for YouTube. You can go watch all those classic Notre Dame games. I'm just saying, just to pick you out. There's no question Marcus Freeman is a great recruiter. No question at all. But the last time that Notre Dame has given a head coach on-the-job training was in 1954 with Terry Brennan, 1981 with Jerry Faust, and guess what? With Freeman again. You can't give that blue blood program over to a coach that has no big-time experience under his belt as a head coach and not expect growing pains. There's still going to be growing pains.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard, man. Nobody wants to hear that, though, even though it's a practical reality.
But it's the truth.
I know, but nobody wants to hear it. It's a practical reality. And then, Tom, the other thing is, people are going to say, yeah, John, that's what last year was for. Get all that bullshit out of the way. Lose to Clemson or lose to Stanford, lose to Marshall, make some mistakes. And everybody wanted that loop, that learning loop to be done after year one. And that's probably not fair or not realistic. But
isn't fair.
But that's the dividing line where people go, year one, we understand year one. Now it's year two. Nobody has patience for it. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
Well, and look, it took Rockne, Leahy, Parseghian, and Devine to their third year to win a national championship. And goddamn Brian Kelly, third year, he was playing for one. You know what I mean? It takes time. Yeah. And you have to keep what they're going through now, especially with the portal and the NIL, is even more negative recruiting. So any of these new players that he signed in the last couple of weeks, even the studs that he got signed the night of the Ohio State game, are monumental signs. They just need to coach them up, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got to be able to coach him.
Hey, Tom, it's nice connecting with you, man. I know how much you take this stuff like I do, and I hope you're doing well. And I hope you're doing well. And I'm glad to hear that the end of the game didn't put you back in Northwestern Memorial Hospital, bro. I'm glad about that.
Amen.
Okay. All right. We're trending in the right direction. I want to keep you out of the ER. All right, bro.
You got it.
And then
I'll talk to you soon. Be good.
buddy. Hey, sometime, I'm not bullshitting you. Me, you, and Pat should go to a high school football game in the Chicago Catholic League and grab a beer. I think that'd be really fun. I'm not kidding. It'd be great.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we shoot for the Loyola? We shoot for the Loyola Mount Carmel game at the end of the year. That'll be the Super Bowl.
I'm telling you, man, it would be fun. I'll get together with Pat and we'll figure it out. But, buddy, have a good one, man. I'm glad you're doing healthy, and I love your passion, man, the way you think about it. Thank you, sir.
All right. We'll see you later.
Have a good one. Bro, I don't understand this. John, you don't want to hear it. I've been saying it for months on the chat, and you ban everybody. It's stupid. One is, I don't want to hear what. That's number one. I have no idea what you're referencing. And the other part, so that's number one, is I have no idea what that's in reference to. I don't want to hear what. Tell me what I don't want to hear. Here's number two. You ban everyone. You guys got to be bullshitting me. I give more leeway in my chat than anybody I've seen that does this stuff for Notre Dame. As far as trolls, people making fun of Notre Dame, other fan bases, people making fun of me. When people make fun of me, as long as it isn't vile across the line, I put it up on the screen. I am really good about not blocking people unless you cross a line. Politics, social stuff that I don't want to get into and turn it into the F word, threatening people. Like, bro, I let a lot go on here. You got to do a lot to get banned, like a lot. So I take offense to that. And when there are other people where if you just say you disagree with their football thought, they ban you forever. A lot of Notre Dame shows, and I'm sure some of you know who they are. If you disagree with them at all, banned. We're having a rough time, subscriber only. Then I know everybody's on my side in the chat. I really don't do that here, man. I let this thing rip as much as I can because I think that's the right thing to do. So I'm going to push back on that. You want to make fun of me? You disagree with my thoughts? Go for it. Go for it. But I am not a banner. You got to really deserve it. You got to really deserve it. So I try and be open on this show and let everybody have a say. So I don't know where that's coming from, man. Jump around and look at the other shows. I let a lot go here, probably more than I should. I honestly let more BS go on here than I should. But a lot of the other people are ban heavy, bro. So I can't win, man. It's never going to be enough. Everybody wants something different all the time. No matter what I do, it's always something. So I'm just going to keep doing it my way. I don't know any other way. 386, you're in the mix. What up?
What's up, John? How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm okay, man. I'm okay. I'm just, long week, and I'm ready to see if Notre Dame can bounce back. It's a big week.
Yeah, man. That's what it's about. This is Connor, by the way. It's not Tyler. It's not my brother, and it's not the Michigan fan that called in the other day. So
yeah, I knew that
Connor today
because I knew he was a Florida number, but there wasn't a name to it. Yours is Florida, but there's a name, so I knew you guys were good. Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah, I was watching that show, and you said 386 in the mix, and I was expecting to hear my brother, and then I heard that guy, and I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't my brother. What's going on here?
Yeah,
so that was funny.
So, man, where are you at with this, man? Where are you at now that we're a handful of days away from the game? Like, are you ready to move on? Is this one going to sit with you? What do you want to see this week? It's a big week for Freeman and the boys.
Yeah, no. So I'm kind of on both sides of the fence. I'll say I'm literally just like you and, most of the callers who are, still pissed off and, want this game back. tenfold. Like, I guarantee that if we play them again, we could definitely beat them. But also, looking on the other side, you got to keep going forward. There's nothing else you can do. We can sit and, be in pain, but that pain can only fuel the fire, like you guys have been talking about. It can only be motivation for this team and for the coaching staff at the end of the day. You think about those moments, you think about the game, you can only turn it into a positive. That's the only thing you can do from here.
Yep.
That's the only thing we have to do.
Yeah,
So,
you have options here. If you're the team, you could go into a shell, be down and out, and count yourselves out, and then go lose to Duke or lose to Louisville or whatever, and then don't even ask about USC. Or your team leaders and Freeman, you got to come together, man. I am not exaggerating. Yep. This is a very important week for Marcus Freeman and his tenure. It is a very, very important one. Last week was too, but in a different way. This is a unique challenge under the microscope, a lot of pressure on the staff. This is a big week, big week. And everybody's going to be judging how they come out and react to this. Everybody in Notre Dame world is miserable and watching this and has low patience for any bad football right now. They got to come out ready or this is going to get ugly, man. Ugly.
Yep. You're spot on. And it's the dynamic and narrative. Here we are coming off a catastrophic loss in the past 20 years. And who's the team that's going into 4 straight primetime games with 2 back-to-back games for College game day? You're not going to find another team in the country that does this. How low are we as a fan base and as a team, maybe? But still the narrative, it's Notre Dame. Who are they talking about still? It's Notre Dame after a huge loss. Here we are again.
Yep.
It's narrative after narrative after narrative.
I found a positive. I found a positive, okay? You're right.
Yeah.
In result, win, loss, in these big moments against the best teams with all the hype, this result was identical to what it's been my whole cognitive existence of consuming Notre Dame. However, I genuinely did see it built differently. The road to this loss looked way, way different. And we belonged on the same field. We didn't get our asses kicked. It wasn't obvious we underweighed them by 50 pounds on the line and we're getting mauled and we were in a different class.
Correct.
And it looked like a JV team against the Alabama 2012 game. You knew in 1 minute we didn't belong and we were going to lose 187 to -0. Like, this wasn't that. And in a way,
it's different.
That makes me feel good because it shows you the roster's changing, guys are developing, there's more depth, we're physical enough to hang up with them, hang with them. But on the downside, that also makes it more frustrating we didn't win it because we did hang with them and you needed to just finish it off the one time you could hang, and we didn't.
Correct.
So that's where I'm at. It's wild, man. It's wild.
It's a double-edged sword, bro. It's a double-edged sword. And
which way is it gonna go? You got that Ohio State nightmare, Duke game day at night, Louisville blackout, and then USC. This month is it. This stretch is huge.
Yeah, it is. And again, like I reiterated that I'm on both sides of the fence. So I'm trying to get past it. I've also been pacing since the last 15 minutes of that game and since it's ended.
Yeah.
So again, it's what our team's mentality is. It's what the coaching staff's mentality is. That's what we're going to see this Saturday. I'm optimistic. I want our team to win out. I know we're capable of doing it. It's going back to the roots, the first 4 games, play by play, game by game, and if you can win out, you give yourself a chance. That's all it comes down to. You got to give yourself a chance. If you don't do that, you're leaving yourself short. So give yourself a chance. You play game to game, play by play, and that's all you can do.
Yep, that is it. There is nothing. I've been trying to wrap my mind around it. There is nothing any of us could do to undo the nightmare that unfolded. And the only thing is you can't let it make you lose 2 games. It was 1, and you just can't. That's the best you could do, is not let it be 2. And I will be let me put it this way. As frustrated as I have been with the staff and some of their decisions and mistakes, I will be genuinely impressed if they pull this off, put a good game plan together. The guys execute and they play hard and their heads are up. This is a tough job of coaching this week, and I'm going to give Freeman a lot of credit if he pulls it off. If they don't, there's going to be a change in the narrative shift in a very dark alley that I don't want to go down, but it's going to happen. And you know it. It's going to get very, very ugly, and it can happen. You got to stop the bleeding now. Stop the bleeding now. Okay? That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Yep. Because I'm not trying to bring up past coaches, past coaching staffs, any of that. But if you really want to change the narrative, and this is not just looking at last year. You know, we lost to Marshall right after Ohio State. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at, further than that. We need to flip the narrative right now. You can't wait till the end of the season. You have to do it right now. That will be the difference from recent coaching staffs. We can't wait till the offseason. Why? You're still playing football. You have a lot of football to play for. Why wait till then? Do it now. Do it freaking right now. That's exactly what you just said. So
yeah. This is a big moment, a critical moment, and the Notre Dame fans they have a magnifying glass on the staff. They got to be good, and nobody has any tolerance for any mistakes. So, anyways, man, Notre Dame's got an opportunity here. They're on prime time again, and they can steady the ship, and that's what we need to see. Hey, man, thank you for giving me a call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. It's always a pleasure. I just want to give you a shout out. I just want to say, thank you for the platform. Thank you for, giving us Irish fans a voice and to let us be heard, because I know it's been rough. It's also been, a good start to the year. But at the end of the day, we have to appreciate every game, because we only have, 12 of them, hopefully 14 this year if we get to that point. But yeah, I just want to say to you and to all the Irish fans, appreciate every game. There's highs and lows to every year, but we want football every offseason. So you got to appreciate it while it's here. So
yep. It's a wild ride, man, and it's not easy. But thank you, man. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Yeah, brother. Take care, John. Shout out, always Irish, and go Notre Dame, man. Go Irish.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it, man. I got some nice callers. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for the calls. I got stuff I got to do. There was a bunch of callers I didn't get to. I apologize. We're going live tonight again. I'll be back at 8:00. And I know that's inconvenient if you could only do the morning. Anybody who didn't get in, you could call tonight. You could call again if you called earlier, whatever. I am going to say this, though. This show made me feel good. I feel like we're starting to get a little bit out of the emotional lane into more breaking this stuff down. This was the healthiest show we've had since the game. That's what I'm going to say. This was the healthiest vibe we've had, where I actually felt it was productive and not just pure misery and all that. I genuinely feel better about this one. I really do. And so we're going to go live tonight again on the pregame party. We're going to see if anybody has some thoughts later on. Everybody that donated, I appreciate it. All the chats, all the kind words about this counseling session. 42-17, Michael has Notre Dame over Duke. Beautiful. If it's 42-17, you're going to go a long way to making everybody feel better about this. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for subscribing, calling, the kind words. And we'll see you all tonight on the pregame party. Have a good one.